you like the Palo Santo?
Welcome back to Sherry It's a Process, where we talk about life as it actually is.
Zenfully chaotic and very much a work in progress. I'm Mercedes.
And I'm Anais. We need to
I was waiting for you to start a conversation.
Oh, okay. I was like, why are you smiling at me weirdly?
I was like, is she going to say something?
No, I think I'm out of practice because I know the listeners haven't had a break, but we've had a break because
We've had a bit of a break.
I've been working on like a 3-week intensive job at the French Open. So we haven't recorded. So I feel really out of practice and like bizarre.
I will get back into it quite quickly. How was the job?
The job was good. I was doing the court maintenance. So
is it like the thing where you like pull like that it's like a blanket with holes?
A blanket with holes? Well, first of all, the French Open is played on clay courts, and the blanket with holes is it's like a little carpet, which is actually an old tennis net.
Yes.
That you use to like flatten everything out, and then you have to brush it with a broom, and then you have to water it because otherwise it gets really dusty and dry. So I was in the training
the carpet
ground.
thing, I used to do that when I was a kid.
Exactly.
Because I used to play tennis, and then after you play tennis, you always had to clean the court with the carpet thing.
Yeah, exactly. It smooths everything out. But I was in the training ground, so I didn't have to deal with any of the big matches and be on TV. But I got to see all the behind the scenes players training. So
very cool.
That was fun.
Nice. Do you feel like you can play tennis now?
No, I was not allowed. If I touch a tennis racket, I'm like instantly.
Oh, really?
Instantly fired.
Oh, they're not. Oh,
No.
okay. Interesting.
No.
Are you interested in tennis now? Like as a sport or?
I think because this is the second year I'm doing it. I think I only ever get interested in tennis in May.
Okay.
And then
it
afterwards.
drops.
The thing is, I think with the Grand Slam, it's interesting and it's all over TV and like it's easy to follow.
Yeah.
Whereas with the smaller like APT tours, the smaller tours, it's harder to, or it's not as easily to find them. So I kind of lose it a little bit. And then Wimbledon comes around and I'm like, oh, interesting. But I never really follow it that much.
Okay. So we're not like tennis fans now.
No.
Just like once a year for 3 weeks.
Yeah, once a year when you see them. I think the cool thing is you see them train and you see all the work and then you see them on court.
Yeah.
That's quite cool. Like you kind of see the behind the scenes of what could have of Sinner's last training before he like went out of the competition, and you're like, oh, could they have had some influence and stuff, but you're not allowed to talk about it. So there's you have the kind of behind the scenes, but you also have really cool stuff and like intense, and
that makes it fun.
I actually got attacked by Zverev's dog. Not attacked, but it ran at me.
Jeez. Sounds dramatic. I mean, the only thing, it's funny because like I guess we've been talking a lot about it, and my Instagram has been feeding me French Open reels here and there.
Yeah.
But it's been giving me, I think it knows I like reality TV, so it's been giving me the really dramatic scenes from the French Open, from like the press tour, or like, I don't know, on court they're fighting and stuff like that, and I'm like, this is so dramatic. Like, it's not even the tennis itself. It's just like the reality TV parts of it. It's really fun. But I guess it's a little bit like me and soccer. I mean, football, sorry. I like football and I used to play it, but like the only time I really get like football crazy is every 4 years.
Every 2 years, because there's the Euros and there's the World Cup, but we won't go
No,
into
it's
that.
every 4 years for me.
You don't? Wait, Austria's never in the Euros.
I'm not really into the Euros. No, but World Cup is coming up. Today is the first match, actually.
Yeah, but that's the US. Anyway, I won't hate.
I don't know who's playing. But the issue is that this year it's all happening in the US and like South America and North America. And the times are fucked up. So you have matches. Austria's playing our time 4 a.m.
Yeah, so you guys
And
won't.
6 a.m. There's literally sports pubs here that are like, let's have breakfast and watch the game.
Yeah, it's always like that when sports events happen in funny time zones.
It's
The
very
opening
bizarre.
hours suddenly change.
Yeah, quite funny. Anyway, so I'm excited for that. But I understand your thing of like tennis for those 3 weeks and then
Kind of
pause.
lose it again.
Yeah, fair.
But no, I do have a new appreciation for clay courts and the maintenance behind it.
Sounds
But-
so nerdy. It
I know.
sounds so niche.
But I lose it quite quickly again.
Yeah, fair.
Let's get into this week's topic. And firstly, I want to mention, you might have realized by the name, there's a bit of a kind of connect between the last episode and this episode. And because you got special 2 pocket magics last time, we're going to reiterate them as well. And so just a quick reminder, there's the TENS device, which can be used for period pain, but also labor and different abdominal pain.
Yes, correct.
So, but I mainly use it for period, and there's lots of different brands out there. Just Googling TENS device. I use one that's called Luna. I'm not sponsored here, but I've been really happy with them. Last time I did say I don't think they exist anymore, but I have actually now found them. I think they are French based, but obviously whatever country you're in, there's quite a lot of good ones out there, but probably a good idea to do your research.
But yours doesn't exist anymore, right?
No, it does. I checked. I think when I checked last time, I was in Austria, and I couldn't find it. And I found lots of different ones. Now I checked again, and I was in France, and it came up.
Okay.
So, and then the second one was obviously the period underwear, which I only have 1 pair. Guilty confession.
Really?
I know you have like 5 million pairs.
I have my own period underwear drawer.
There we go. No, I do need to make a bit more of an investment in it, but I just prefer buying shoes.
Yeah, they can feel quite expensive.
Yeah.
But then
in
again,
the long
like,
run, they're obviously not, because you use them.
I was gonna say pads and stuff are super expensive too in the long run.
Yeah.
It just adds up.
It's just a different style of investment, but definitely if you're not traveling like crazy, they're definitely a good thing to have.
Yeah.
And even when you're traveling like crazy, there's now ways that you can like clean them out and put them in a pouch until you get home. But you should also do your research, and we can maybe put some links that we like to use. But again, all of this is non-sponsored, and it's all our own personal experiences. Recommendations, exactly. And one last thing I also want to say before this pocket magic section ends. For me, being gluten-free before my period really, really helps with my pain management.
Hence last week's episode.
Exactly. But it might not work for everyone. You really need to make your own experiences with it. I mean, with there's not a lot of difference.
But I also don't have a lot of pain to begin with.
Yeah. So I think it really depends on the person, but it's not a kind of a cure for everyone. You really need to make your own experience with it and try it out, and kind of it's a trial and error if it works for you or not. But if you have severe pain, it could be something that helps you. But yeah, make your own. Try it out and let us know.
There's nothing to lose.
Yeah, there's nothing to lose, but I know that...
No promises.
Yeah. I do know that you really need to try it out to see. 1 in 8 women worldwide are living with this condition. That is over 170 million people.
That's kind of a lot.
Okay. Now, this is quite a recent thing, and I think for me it is kind of a big deal. I hope
you are one of those women.
I am one of those women. And I'm going to set the scene a little bit. So on May 12th, so just about a month ago from recording this, so probably 6 weeks from when this episode comes out, on the 12th of May 2026, a landmark paper was published in the Lancet. I don't know if you know what the Lancet is. It's
No.
It's quite a oh my god, words today. reputable medical journal, and anything kind of big in the medical world often or mostly really gets published there
First.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah.
So it was published, the paper was published in The Lancet, which officially renamed polycystic ovary syndrome, also known as PCOS, to polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome, or known as PMOS.
Okay.
So, for some people might just be like, what does this mean? Why?
Is it important?
Yeah. For people with PCOS, or now PMOS, it is important because there's just been a lot of misdiagnosis, misinformation, confusion, and a long process with PCOS. Everyone has tried and it's gotten a lot better, but officially there were some things that were left out in PCOS that they've now in this...
Like symptoms
and very important features that just weren't named. And then there was kind of a lack of funding for research and it was just... PMOS makes it more concrete, available, easier to get funding and work. But I'm going to get into that in a minute.
Question, because the big change is that there's also it doesn't say cystic anymore, right?
Yeah, I'll get into that in a minute. But
okay, because I know a friend of mine, she also has PMOS.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't even have cysts.
Exactly.
So I know you do, but like she doesn't, but you guys still have the same thing.
Yeah. And I'll also get into it because it's not actually... I'll get into this because
cool.
I don't want to get ahead of myself.
No.
But we're going to start off with what was PCOS, because also the condition stays the same. If you had PCOS, you still have PMOS. The condition doesn't change. It's just a name change to make it more accurate with the symptoms. Okay. So under the old diagnostic triad, under the latest criteria, PMOS is diagnosed by presence of excess male hormones called androgens. Androgens. I'm probably might be butchering the name, but I'm going to try my best.
It's an A, androgens.
Androgens, yeah. So excess male hormones called androgens, irregular menstrual cycle, and high level of anti-Mullerian hormones, also known as AMH in the blood.
So this is under the old name?
No, this is the new name.
Okay.
Okay. Because the old name refers to very much to the cysts and what's not growing, but what is on the ovaries, which is a big diagnostic factor, and what they used to diagnose it with and then they did a blood test and they kind of confirmed but
it's only in combination with what's happening in the ovaries and the blood test versus now.
Well, now let's get into it, because so now they're very much focusing on the androgens, the irregular menstrual cycle, the higher AMH hormones in the blood.
Okay.
And then also with, again, I have this, your friend doesn't, but ovaries with many arrested follicles seen on the ultrasound. So that's how it's diagnosed now.
Okay. So it is a combination of what's in the blood, what the menstrual cycle is like, and also what's happening in the ovaries. Yeah. Versus before, it was just ovaries.
Thing is, when I got diagnosed, they were already testing it like this. Okay? And I don't actually know how... But also this name change has been going on for the last, decade, kind of. It's been in the works. So they've already been diagnosing it like this, but the name just didn't have anything to do with it. And now they've made this name change.
Okay.
And they're trying to kind of make it more that the name change and the name has something to do with the actual diagnosis process.
Okay. Got it.
Don't know if you did.
Diagnosis process.
One of our first episodes. Okay, and so here is where it gets interesting, because the original outline of PCOS mentioned it really heavily relied on polycystic ovaries appearing on the ultrasound.
Which is the ones that you have.
That was very visible on my ultrasound, and we can maybe make a reel with a picture of polycystic ovaries, so it's very visible and you can see it. And I think that's really interesting that your friend doesn't have it. I didn't know that she doesn't have the follicles.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't have as many as you do, if she has any.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is also where it gets interesting, because with the original outline, it was really important for the polycystic appearance of the ovaries.
Yeah.
But this has now been clarified. So now to clarify that, what is visible on the ultrasound aren't cysts. They're small antral follicles or immature follicles that haven't developed properly. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of this. I think it's going to look weird.
You're fine. I'm just, okay. What's the difference? Because I know I actually had a cyst.
So they're not cysts in the clinical sense.
Okay, because mine went away again on its own.
So these are just, your ovaries are constantly have follicles. And again, I'm not in the medical field. So I don't know. But they're just follicles that haven't properly matured. But they're present, and they're just kind of doing their thing abnormally to...
Like, they're not supposed to be there, but they are.
Yeah. I think the kind of immature follicles that haven't developed yet, that's kind of or developed properly. I think that's the issue. So the hormones, but again, I think because there's more male there's the androgens that, your hormones are just a bit deregulated. So it's not quite developing properly. Okay. So we've sort of already mentioned this, but the problem with the old name, obviously, was the polycystic, very much the focus. And I don't know...
The focus being on the fact that you have many cysts.
Exactly.
If you have this syndrome.
Yeah.
Or this... Is that syndrome? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have the syndrome, you have many cysts, which is polycystic means.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There's a bit of a kind of quote from the Lancet paper. I don't know if you want to read that out to us to kind of get a fuller picture.
Okay, so the Lancet paper described PCOS as inaccurate, implying pathologic ovarian cysts, obscuring diverse endocrine and metabolic features, and contributing to delayed diagnosis, fragmented care, and stigma while curtailing research and policy framing. So this was the issue with the PCOS name.
Exactly. And then again, the kind of women were told, well, your ultrasound is normal, you don't have PCOS.
Right.
When in fact ovarian health isn't just about one component of the diagnosis.
Yeah.
When it's not even the most important one.
Right. So a lot of people, like a lot of women that were supposed to be diagnosed weren't diagnosed because of this whole polycystic thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because also some of the key factors missing in the previous name was the insulin resistance, which is a huge, that's one of the blood tests that I remember getting. It was a blood test, and that's one of the main things they check for.
Yeah.
Which is present in the majority of the patients.
Okay.
With obviously the side effects of now PMOS is weight gain, cardio metabolic risk factors, including abnormal lipid levels and elevated blood pressure, and then also anxiety and depression.
Is that PMOS or is that from insulin resistance?
You're asking some really good questions here.
It's because I'm reading the same notes as you.
In all honesty, I hate to say this, but I don't know if it's linked, but they're some of the main factors in PMOS, in the syndrome.
Right, but
So,
okay, but it might be coming from the insulin resistance, but obviously insulin resistance is a part of PMOS.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And also cardio metabolic risks, and also the abnormal lipid levels is because you might have, there's more cholesterol, I can't say the word. Can you say the word?
You just said it.
Cholesterol.
Yeah.
Cholesterol. I think it's, I need to Google this word. Give me a second.
I wouldn't be able to say it for you. This is where my knowledge ends.
I've got it. Here you go. I'm really sorry. Cholesterol.
Okay, the issue with all of this is that I don't really know what any of that means.
Okay, cholesterol is basically fat deposits in your veins, which can clog up the arteries and make the blood harder to flow.
Which is why people have heart attacks.
Among other things, yeah.
Yes.
It can be one of the leading factors to cardio-metabolic risks.
Okay.
Okay, and also
what are lipid levels?
Huh?
Lipid levels?
That is the cholesterol and different in your blood, the fat deposits.
Which then leads to cardiometabolic risk. Got it. Wow. I'm learning a lot here today.
I know, it's a factual one. Oh, Mary.
Okay. Kind of cool, actually.
Why don't you read out the wider health impacts that were not being acknowledged with PCOS?
Okay. PMOS involves interacting disturbances in insulin signaling, androgen production. This is mean, by the way. I know I don't have dyslexia, but this is mean.
I had to put my glasses on as well. This is mean too.
I know, I'm like, do I need to put mine on? Okay, PMOS involves interacting disturbances in insulin signaling, androgen production, neuroendocrine pathways, and ovarian function, contributing not only to infertility and menstrual dysfunction, but also to obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease risk, mental health conditions, and pregnancy complications. Damn.
Okay, and you see why it has to be bigger than just the cysts, which is what the old name. And PMOS does refer to a wider range of symptoms. And that's where I'm like, yes.
The diabetes is kind of wild.
I mean, it's the insulin resistance, it's the cholesterol, all kind of, it's the hormones that mess everything up.
You don't have diabetes though, do you? I would know
Not
that.
to my knowledge.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I lived with you. I think I would know that. Could you
fun tennis
develop?
Fact,
Yeah.
Zverev, who's lots of controversies about this man, he has diabetes. And he just won a Grand Slam.
Oh, he won?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Could you develop diabetes through having PMOS? Is that something you're aware of? Sorry, I might be asking too many questions.
Never. Here, so women with PCOS can develop serious health problems, especially when they have overweight. When they are overweight, including type 2 diabetes and gastral diabetes and diabetes with pregnancy, which is diabetes with pregnancy. So you can.
Okay. But it's, I never know the type 1 and type 2. But
type 2 obviously comes
with
with
obesity, right?
Sorry, I interrupted you. What did you say?
No, it's fine. A type 2 comes with obesity, right?
It's one of the things, it can happen with obesity. And because there's, with PMOS, you gain weight easilier. It can be kind of a
side effect, and it can slip into that. Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay.
So,
So
wow.
yeah.
I understand. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Obviously, the ovarian parts of it and the cysts are part of it, but then obviously there's so many other parts of it.
Yeah.
And I guess also, like, for example, that friend who doesn't have cysts, you do, she has also slightly different symptoms than you do. So it's so much harder to, like, figure out
Yeah.
if a woman has PMOS. So I guess this makes it easier
Yeah.
by widening the spectrum.
Exactly. Because also, I think by the time I got diagnosed, it was already probably much better. Because
Yeah.
I've only been diagnosed in the last couple of years. But, you know, there are women that it took 12 years for them to get diagnosed and kind of have a proper
Diagnosis.
time. So I think
Crazy. Where's the 12 years from?
that is, again, that was cited. That's a professor who worked on the study and on the name change. I'm going to go into mention her again later, but she's called Professor Helena Tidi. I hope I'm saying that right. She cited that the shift in name aims to reduce the average time of diagnosis, because in the past,
What was the average time in the past? That was the 12 years.
it could take up to
Wow.
12 years for some women, which is extreme. I mean,
That's a lot.
yeah. I mean, my mum said it the other day. She was like, yeah, I feel like women are so used to having kind of stuff taking a long time to diagnose and figure it out that it's very much, we're kind of used to it. But hearing 12 years, I'm like,
It's a lot. It's a lot.
yeah. I mean,
if you get your period at 13, and then you're having issues and issues and issues, and by the time you're 30, most of your life in between having your period and being 30, you've just been trying to figure out diagnosis.
yeah, and also I think
It's
a lot
crazy.
of people also, PCOS used to be a thing that it's only, I remember when I was at the beginning of my diagnosis, people were only like, yeah, PCOS is only an issue when you try and get pregnant.
Right.
I was 20
it's
at
an
the time. I was
infertility
like,
issue.
I'm not trying to get pregnant here, but what do I do?
Right. Okay. Oh, so they're like, it's an issue if you want to get pregnant because of all these follicles and all these hormonal
and
things.
irregular
But you're
periods.
saying, yeah, but then you're saying, yeah, but like I'm in pain.
Yeah.
I'm having all these issues.
I'm not
I don't-
thinking about getting pregnant right now.
Yeah, I want to deal with my issues.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So let's look at how the name change happened, which obviously was a lengthy process.
Okay.
So
Yeah, you were saying it's been going on for like a decade or something.
yeah, so the name change was announced in the Lancet after a 14-year global effort led by Professor Helena Tidi of, can I try and say this name?
Monash University?
Monash University.
Where is that?
I think it's in the States, but maybe it's Canada. We'll cut
Sorry.
out this short.
Probably not important, but Australia, Melbourne.
Oh wow, I like Australia because they're always really far ahead when it comes to
It's true.
this type of stuff. Shout out Australia. Okay, so in an Australian university. Okay, and this is the interesting part. Okay, with input from 56 professional societies and thousands of patients across 6 continents. So it was kind of a global...
It was a global effort,
Yeah,
quite literally.
Yeah.
Crazy. And she led the whole thing.
yeah.
And 56 professional societies. Professional societies, is it like, what are professional societies?
Hospitals, you know,
Okay.
research
Right.
centers, universities,
Right.
you know,
Right.
kind of a global, it wasn't just at the
It wasn't
Monash
just in Australia.
University.
It was,
Yeah.
it was everywhere.
That's
And
where
patients across 6 continents.
Helena, I think it's
Wild.
Helena, sorry. The glasses sometimes, you know, slow down.
Helena? I don't know.
I think it's Helena.
Well, yeah, probably. So this professor, let's just call her Professor because I think it's really cool. I like the name Professor. Okay, cool. Wow.
Okay, so the changes follow an extensive international consensus process involving more than 14,000 survey responses from patients and health professionals across multiple world regions. So again, this global effort.
14,000 survey responses.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
the
thing is,
responses.
there is, the original outline stated that it was 22,000 survey responses, but which was in a secondary source, but in the Lancet paper itself, it cited 14,000. So that's why I kind of stuck to that one, because I know that the Lancet is quite respectable.
Yeah.
So I wanted to stick to that one, but it could have been a lot more.
Interesting.
Okay, so and then 86% of patients and 71% of clinicians supported the change.
Okay.
Citing stigma, confusion, and fragmented care as kind of the main.
Feels very. Is that a high percentage? It feels kind of like a low percentage. I mean, the 86 doesn't, but the 71 feels kind of low.
I think there's a whole obviously background to it. And when I first read it, I was like, yeah, but I've been diagnosed with PCOS. What I'm going to go now? How am I going to feel if, I when I first saw the kind of thing where it was like, there's been a name change with this diagnosis, I've been trying to accept in myself and be like, I have this is, but then when I did research and the kind of thought behind it and the whole like, oh wait, PCOS only refers to such a small part and in a way unimportant part of the diagnosis, I actually really appreciate the kind of work and that this has happened. But first of all, I was very skeptical. So I see why the numbers are low, and also the whole like clinicians, is that the right word?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
They're obviously using this term and they're diagnosing. If they suddenly use a new name, people are going to be like, what is this? Do I have a new condition? Do I have, there's a lot of confusion. And I think that's also why, I mean, earlier when I Googled it, I wrote in, does diabetes have anything to do with, PMOS? And it straight away went back to PCOS. So it's going to be, it's a generational thing. It's going to be such a long time for it to get into the general
public and the knowledge. Okay.
So I think that's where the numbers
I guess a lot of people are kind of skeptical because it will lead to confusions and misunderstandings. And for a long time, I guess they'll use both.
Yeah. And also, but that's the thing
like
where
transitional.
It's only a name change. It's not a new, it's not a new syndrome. The syndrome stays the same. It's just...
Okay. It's just the change. It's just the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but often the name is quite important too, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And we'll go into that in a minute as well. So let's unpack the new name. You got rid of the thing.
I didn't.
Polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome.
I didn't actually get rid of the thing. It wasn't there.
I thought I did. No. Anyway.
It just said endocrine, and then I changed it to polyendocrine because I thought that was important.
No, I think I put... Anyway, it doesn't matter. I remembered it.
Good job.
So, let's unpack the new name. PMOS.
Yes.
Polyendocrine metabolic ovarian syndrome.
Yes.
Let's look at what does the polyendocrine stand for, which are the multiple metabolic dimensions. So it involves the insulin resistance, the diabetes risks, the cardiovascular risks. So those are the metabolic features that are as impactful or maybe even more as the infertility issues. Obviously, once you start having babies and want to have children, the fertility issues part becomes more present, but
in general,
there's a lot of other health risks that can also come along with it. Okay.
What was that sound?
Sorry, my laptop went to sleep. So now the ovarian part.
Yeah.
So the ovaries obviously remain the central understanding of the conditions.
Right.
Abnormalities in the follicle's development and ovulation are key features of PMOS.
Okay.
The ovary...
So that's still like the reproductive issues and
of course.
potential cysts or the follicles that you were talking about.
Yeah, the follicles, they're not cysts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry. That's also why it's not polycystic anymore, because they're not actually cysts.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So the ovary is involved, it's just not the only thing going on. And it's not cysts that define it.
Right.
Okay, and then obviously syndrome. Syndrome correctly reflects that this is a cluster of features, not a single cause disease.
Okay, and that stayed the same, obviously. It's still a syndrome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what does this mean for patients? And this is also where, all women should be cheering. All women with PCOS should be cheering.
Okay.
So what does it mean for patients? It means a broader clinical workup. So under PMOS, the workup includes metabolic markers from the onset. A woman walking in with irregular periods and acne, again, big cheers.
Okay.
May also get screened for insulin resistance, glucose intolerance, and cardiometabolic risk factors.
Why are we cheersing?
Because it wasn't before that. You had your ultrasound, you saw the cysts, you had PCOS, or you didn't have PCOS.
Okay, now
you walk in with irregular periods and acne, and you get screened for insulin resistance, glucose intolerance, and cardiometabolic risk factors,
which are part of PMOS.
Yeah. And under PCOS this was still happening in the last couple years, but now
it's very clear.
Yeah, it's like this is part of this.
There's no the
metabolic, as in the name, we get recognition.
Yeah.
So treatment shift.
So yay! Cheers.
Exactly. Cheers.
Cool.
Treatment shifts. Therapeutic framing now targets upstream metabolic and neuroendocrine dividers such as insulin resistance along with reproductive goals. So they go in together. It's not
hand in hand.
Hand in hand. There we go.
Is that what you're looking for?
Exactly. Research.
But in the treatment,
yeah,
or in the what therapy or treatment is there? I didn't realize there was any.
I think it depends on individual patients and their needs. So if it's obviously reproductive, they work on that. If it's, for me, I know that if I want to have a child, normally most couples will have to try for a year, actively trying to get pregnant. With me, I only have to try for 6 months because I have PCOS and they know it's harder for me to get pregnant.
So they will help you much quicker because they know if you're not going to get pregnant within the 6 months, it's unlikely you'll get pregnant in the next 6 months anyway.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
That's in a very kind of concise way. That is in
a very specific example. That's one example. Okay.
Yeah. Again, another big cheers coming out. Research funding. Advocates say the change in name will open doors for more source of research and funding for the disorder. I don't like the name disorder, so I'm going to say syndrome.
Yeah.
As well as clarify its true nature for patients and doctors. And this is a big one for me.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the main reasons. When I read that, I was like, okay, I'm happy with the name change. I'm not going to give a bias.
Yeah, because finally, things are being recognized and, things are actually being looked at and...
Exactly.
They're actually getting funding for things. Yeah. I guess it's also easier to get funding if you're going, actually, diabetes does have to do with this. If it's now properly, as an example, it's not just that, but... let's look into the diabetes part of it because it's actually a big part of PMOS.
Exactly.
versus before it was like, why would you look into diabetes if it only has to do with cysts?
Yeah.
It's that kind of. Yeah.
Okay, and now
Makes sense.
let's talk about the rollout time, which
Yeah.
obviously I think is where a lot of confusion and stuff is going to come from. But over the next 3 years, the term PCOS will be replaced with PMOS in
Yeah.
the medical records and clinical guidelines. Sorry, my laptop
was
fell
that?
asleep.
Guidelines.
With full implementation expected in 2028 international guidelines update. So it's
Crazy.
not a kind of click of the finger, all of that, but by
Sure.
2028 worldwide in the guidelines it's going to be known as PMOS.
Okay. And like all medical records and stuff, and
Yeah.
they're completely changing
Yeah.
it. Cool. Wow.
And this
Wow, it takes 3 years to do something like that. That's wild.
Yeah.
For
And
just
it's taken-
like one
Yeah.
word, basically.
yeah.
That's crazy.
And I mean it's taken 14 years of kind of intensive research to get here.
Right.
Crazy, no?
Wild. The amount of time that goes into these things is crazy.
Yeah, and I think the last thing I also want to mention, well, not
Yeah.
the last thing, but one thing that's also still really important, your diagnosis that you got X amount of time ago is still valid.
Right. That's not
Right.
changing.
No.
Okay. I mean, not mine. I don't have one because you're saying
No,
your.
I mean, your as in the
Whoever
greater.
got the diagnosis. Okay.
Nothing about the diagnostic criteria has fundamentally changed. If you
Okay.
are diagnosed with PCOS, your diagnosis still stands.
Yeah.
The condition is the same. The name is what's changing,
Okay.
right?
Right. So the way, like, what you have, how it impacts your life, the therapy behind it, none of that is really changing. It's just becoming
No.
more acknowledged,
Yeah.
I guess.
And also
And then
I mean,
name.
hopefully they get more funding and more research and all of that. But how
Then there's
I got
more
diagnosed
knowledge.
was very
Right.
similar with, I had the blood test,
Okay.
I had the checks for the insulin resistance. I had all of that already under
Right.
PCOS. It's just now.
When, just really quickly, because you're talking about your own diagnosis as well, and that being similar to what we're talking about. And what we're talking about is obviously very, very recent. That's literally this year, 2026.
Wow.
Just for time understanding, when did you do your tests and diagnosis?
I did one of them in 2022.
Okay.
And then I did another one in 2025.
Okay, so within the last 5 years, you were diagnosed, you did all the tests,
Yeah.
and within those 5 years, they were already doing it the
Yeah.
way that they're talking about doing it now. They
Yeah.
were almost like doing it under the PMOS name, the official name change they just handed in this year.
Yeah, this May.
Okay. This
And
May, yeah.
that's also where,
Okay.
I think for me, the biggest thing is the research funding that is now
Yeah.
could be more available because it's more a
Yeah.
broader kind of acceptance of or not acceptance, but of the condition.
Understanding, I guess, as well.
Understanding, exactly.
And then they can understand it even deeper now.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
And
cool.
now just to kind of close out,
Yeah.
obviously on the other side, and this is kind of, we mentioned this earlier with the percentage, you were like,
Right.
it's obviously high, but it also seems quite low.
Yeah.
And there's obviously the concerns about the name change.
So the percentage as in how many
Yeah, you were
people
like,
voted
for clinicians, it was quite low,
liking.
71%.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention it. But yeah,
Yeah.
so the concerns while remaining, ooh, this is going to be hard for me to read. Do you want to? Yeah.
Yes, if you want, I can read that out loud.
Yeah, why don't you read it out?
I do just want to say that it's starting to rain on my end. So if you start hearing some raindrops at the end of this episode, that's why.
Okay.
Just wanted to put that in there. It's going to make it slightly more romantic to the end.
Okay, this isn't the romantic part, but go for it.
Okay, so concerns about the name change. While the renaming represents a meaningful conceptual advance, its practical impact on clinical outcomes will depend on how consistently the new terminology is adopted across primary care, endocrinology, gynecology, and cardiology. Renaming alone does not resolve existing gaps in screening protocols or access to multidisciplinary care. Okay, so I read that out, but I don't really know what I read.
Right. So obviously that kind of refers to people are like, oh, well, what is the name change really going to change?
Okay.
They're like, this is it's for me personally, that's how I interpret it. There's been a name in place. It's like someone changing their name. You know them. There's a whole personality. Didn't want to out you there. That is associated with that syndrome or person, and then having to rethink that, rename that. If you're working in endocrinology or gynecology and you're so used to saying one thing and suddenly you have to retrain yourself to say something else.
Yeah.
There is something, and they're like, well, is that really going to resolve the gaps that are already there? How is that going to work? All of that. I don't want to say it, but haters will hate.
Yeah, I think maybe it's also, I don't come for me for this, but like maybe it's also a little bit of laziness where it's like, I don't want to put in the effort, I don't think that's necessarily great either. And I think it's frustrating because like we as women have there's a whole thing in the medical field and women, especially when it comes to our reproductive system and menstrual cycle and hormones, and so many of us don't get diagnosed. There's no understanding. Endometriosis is like a huge thing as well, and there's many more. And the fact that like it's only one letter, right? Because PCOS and PMOS, it's one letter. And it can make such an impact. And the fact that people are still going like, no, it's too much work.
Yeah.
Like, it's so frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're like, this tiny little change. I mean, tiny. It's not actually tiny. That's the thing. But
the one
really,
letter
at the end
has
of the day, it's
such
a
a
letter.
kind of broader...
Yeah, exactly. And it can make such an impact. And the fact that then there's still people going like, oh, I don't know. And like the terminology and like, it's, yeah. I think it's great that they did it either way. Because I think the fact as well, that professor that led the whole thing, she could have gone, oh, but like no one's really gonna care. Or like, oh, no one's really gonna use it. And she could have just dropped the whole thing. But she didn't. And the fact that she didn't, I think, is also very impressive, and like fucking kudos to her for like pushing through, because she's a smart woman for sure. Like she knows there are people out there who are gonna go, who cares? But she went, no, we care. And I think that's very impressive as well.
Definitely.
Anyway, just to like shut down the other side for a second.
We're here for,
silly.
We approve
it's
of PMOS.
Silly. Yes.
Okay. I think the kind of closing line I want to leave with you guys, you with, I'm just going to read it out. But obviously, if you have any questions, leave us a comment either on our Instagram, share it to process, or write us, message. Spotify, leave us a comment. But yeah, I want to just leave you with this. The reason for the change is scientific accuracy. The term PCOS obscured the wide-ranging endocrine and metabolic features of the condition, which caused delays in diagnosis, fragmented care, and stigma, while also limiting research.
And that is why it is now called
PMOS.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for the research. That was really, really fascinating. And I really appreciate it.
Well, I hope it it's been a personal kind of side quest for me, my period, and the acceptance of it. And so this has been kind of not a passion project, but something quite important for me.
Of course. I mean, it's your body that we're talking about, and it's your own health things that you've been going through. So it's a passion project, I wouldn't say, but it's a part of you in your life, and I think it's very brave of you to also share it and to talk about it. And I think it's really cool. And I do hope that other people with the same condition can learn a lot from you.
Yeah. And for me, it was kind of a momentous, since the 12th of May and doing this research, I was like, just jaw dropping all the time, like, oh, this is huge. Even whilst I was writing parts of the episode, I was like, we have to acknowledge this big moment. I felt so silly, but I was like, no, we have, like,
yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Because I know you've been struggling. I mean, like you said, you started this whole thing 4 years ago. So it must feel really cool that after 4 years you have all this knowledge now and understanding, and you don't feel so alone with it because the research continues. And who knows, in 5 years, you know, maybe you want to start getting pregnant, and then you know even more, and they can even like solve even more. And
let's focus on today, okay?
Yeah, but like it's cool to know that it's ever evolving, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And that must feel really good. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for bringing it. Really appreciate it. Wishing everyone a wonderful Sunday.
True Sunday. Wow.
Very medical heavy today, but I hope you're still able to relax into it a little bit, and we
will see you soon.
We'll see you soon.
Take care.